to Asking About K-Pop, the essential guide for recent converts and seasoned fans alike. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to the show. I was planning on trying to make some kind of fun deja vu, like pun or reference, but nothing is coming to me right now.
Well, we don't have like a tagline for our battle episodes, so I don't know if we like said it twice or something. I don't know. We didn't prepare this ahead of time.
We didn't.
But today is another battle episode.
It sure is.
Spoiler alert. And if you've never listened to one of our battle episodes before, the premise is pretty simple. We take 10 songs that have the same title, and the title has to be stylized the same way as well. So if the title is Butterfly, it's not going to be Butterflies. Like all of the titles will be in English, the word butterfly.
Sure.
And so we take 10 songs and we rank them according to criteria of our own design. And then we assign them points to put from 1 to 10, the best to the quote unquote worst song of that particular title.
And we also got help from our seasoned fan tier Patreon patrons for this. They got to vote as well. So it's not just our opinions. It's a bunch of people's opinions, which is fun because it like really changes things up because people have very different tastes.
They do indeed. And we use a numerical point system where from 1 to 10, we give our number one choice 10 points and our number 10 choice only 1 point.
Correct.
Right? So they get a descending number of points and then we just total them up and then use it that way in order to decide. But we don't have like... You and I have been doing these for a while, so we kind of, I think, evaluate the songs on certain things in our own brains. But like when we ask our patrons for their opinion, we don't give them a set of things to look for. Like they're just ranking it however the fuck they want to. So that's what's kind of fun about these is that like, especially in this particular batch of songs, I found that the top songs were all so different that I found it difficult to decide like from 1 to 5 what I thought was quote unquote better than the others. Cause it's like, do I just like this song more? Or do I think it's like compositionally more intricate, more beautiful, more mainstream, like more unique? What am I fucking evaluating this on? And I don't really know that I came to a decision, but I chose my rankings.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same. That like the top 5 for me were all songs that I really liked, and the bottom 5 were songs that I felt super meh about, but I didn't know how to rank them.
Yeah.
Because they are all very different. And I think that's one of the fun things about this episode is like to take a look at a bunch of songs that might have the same title, but what do they have in common and how do they differ? Because all the battles have been different, but sometimes like a title leans itself to a certain vibe or a certain lyrical content or whatever. Yeah. So that's what we also try to like analyze in these episodes. It's not just about ranking songs, but more like looking at 10 songs as a whole and how they go together
and kind of like
or not.
And how they use the title or the theme. And sometimes strange trends kind of occur where like, oh, all of these songs are ballads, or like, oh, for whatever reason all of these songs are breakup songs or whatever it is, or they use the similar kind of like instrumentation or whatever. It's just interesting.
So this week's title that we are looking at is Deja Vu. And before we get started, as I have done with a couple of these titles, I wanted to like get into the etymology of the word so that we can see how people are using it. Because I'm not sure, like, so deja vu is a French word, French phrase, term, adjective. But I don't know if like in other languages, if people also say deja vu or if they have their own word for this. I am not sure. But if you've never like heard this term before, the literal French translation is already seen. but it has a couple of different definitions. One is like the illusion of remembering scenes and events, but you're experiencing them for the first time. It's like this
Yeah.
weird phenomenon of like, oh, I've already been here. And then there's also another definition, is it being something that is overly or unpleasantly familiar.
Interesting.
I feel like there is kind of there is something not sinister, but there is something kind of like weird about deja vu. It's usually not a feeling that's associated with like, wow, it's so fun that I feel like I'm experiencing this again. Like there's something unsettling about it.
Yeah, unsettling is the word that I was thinking as well. Like even when walk into a place and you're like, "Oh, I've been here before," but you haven't. It's just strange because you're like your brain is wanting to know why you feel that way and there's no explanation, but it's such a common phenomenon that there is a phrase for it.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those weird things.
Yeah. So we'll see how people took that weird thing and applied it to a bunch of these different songs. So,
yeah, knowing that it has this sort of darker connotation, how will that translate into a musical version?
So the contenders for this week in alphabetical order, again, all of the songs are called Deja Vu, but we have one from A-Pink, ATEEZ, Dreamcatcher, FX, Monsta X, NCT Dream, Newest W, Pixie, Triple S, and Twice.
Yeah.
And this list came from Linaloo on our Discord. And just a reminder that we have an episode suggestions channel on Discord. If you ever like want to tell us what kind of episodes you'd like to hear, we search that from time to time to look for inspiration. And Linaloo actually provided 12 songs. But
Great.
I omitted Double S 501 and Tiara just to keep the list more like current, because the oldest songs on this list are from 2015 and the most recent is 2023. So just to keep it all, just to not throw in like two super second gen things and like make them outliers. That was my thought process.
Fair enough.
So I think that's all of the words are failing me today.
All the
Preamble.
details, the business up at the front, and now it's time for the party in the back.
I think so.
Before we talk about the rankings and how they shook out once we averaged all of our points, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or say or mention about your general process for this particular battle? Any takeaways to put up at the front?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that this
great.
was, I don't know, this felt like a pretty simple battle. And like I said, I felt good about 5 and meh about 5. So it was a little hard to rank, but it felt more like a half and half battle. Whereas like sometimes it's like 9 of these songs are great and one of them sucks. And like,
Yeah. Or we've even had some where like all of the songs are objectively good. They're just very different.
Right.
Or even a couple of them being kind of similar can make it pretty difficult. I did think at least all of these songs were pretty different. And for the first time in a while, we do not have any ties. Like a lot of times in these, we will have 2, sometimes even 3 ties, and here every single song had a different ranking, which is fun.
Yeah. All right, are we ready to figure out how this shook out?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, starting in 10th place, we have Deja Vu by Monsta X. All right, so this song was released on November 7th, 2017 on Monsta X's album The Code. And it was written by Flobo, JJ Evans, and Shin Hyuk. And it had lyrics by Q, Kang Eun-yu, Kim Hye-jung, Juhani and I.M, and Che Ji-hae. And what I wrote for musical features of this song is noise.
Yeah, it has like, I mean, it's a very like ominous trap. And at the very beginning, like I.M says something, I don't remember what it is at the beginning, like turn the lights off, I think, at the beginning, like over and over. And then it like scream groans into the rest of the song. And there's a lot of like brass in the background. So yeah, I did, however, find the song like weirdly hypnotizing. And like I could just like put it on in the background and sort of like, because the melody line that comes in eventually with the vocal team is like very swayy, like it goes back and forth. And I genuinely did like the bridge, like when they are actually singing for the like 20 seconds of the song that they're actually singing. But yeah, overall, this was pretty easily at the bottom for me. It was not my 10th place, but it was number 9.
Okay. We do a little lyrical and analyzing. Analysis. What I was like, what are words are failing me today. But we like to look at the lyrics to see how all of the songs are or are not using the title. So in this one, they do say Deja vu, jamais vu. So some extra French in there. Feels like I've seen you before. Did I or did I not? I don't know, but my heart is beating just the same. Across the memories, it's a different dimension. Is this a dream or is this reality? So I think you're saying that it feels kind of hypnotizing is maybe on purpose because there's supposed to be a like dreamy. What's happening?
Yeah.
The song doesn't have any like visuals to go with it. It is a B-side. And as you were saying, like you put this low. This was my last place as well. And looking at our rankings from the listeners, nobody put this song higher than like 7. Nobody did. It was like the clear loser, more or less. We don't want to call anybody losers, but
the clear bottom ranking by a large margin,
a very large margin,
like at least 20 points.
Yeah. And my last note for this was that songs like this make me wonder how I ever managed to get into Monsta X. Like,
it's because they're so cute.
It's because they're so cute. But yeah, it's also just kind of generally like a nothing song, more or less. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those, it's like a filler.
Yeah.
Oldie.
Filler song. All right, moving on.
Next up in 9th place, we have Deja Vu by NCT Dream. This song was released on October 12th, 2020 on the NCT Resonance Part 1 album. It was written by Jonathan Gusmark, Ludwig Ethers, Cassiopeia, Bobby Lewis, and Moonshine, with lyrics by Kim Min-ji. And yeah, the musical features of this song, like you said, clangy bells. I had written some sort of question mark xylophone.
Yeah.
The top YouTube comment says it sounds like an amusement park, and I do absolutely agree with that. There's so much happening in this song. It feels very chaotic. There's like a string opening and this very crunchy beat with like so many layered vocals and like Aos,
Chew.
like yeah, all these like weird little like heys in the background. The lyrics of this song say, feel the vibe, run right now, all right? On this exciting night, we can dance, play on this stage that is heating up. This is what I saw in my dreams. This scene is a deja vu. So that feels kind of more of like an upbeat, exciting deja vu of like maybe like you saw something in a dream and now it's happening in reality. So like you know where the deja vu is coming from and it's just exciting because like your dreams are coming true.
Right.
There is a 1 minute 45-second video of this song, and it says Dreamies get a notice about the 2020 big stage competition. Tell me about this. I did not watch this video.
Yeah, it's just like a short video. It's not the full song, but like they're in like a kind of vague, bright like apartment set, and they get this notice. And if you pause the screen and look at it, it just says like big dance competition, big stage competition. Like,
okay, great.
So then they like practice their dancing and their like music in like a kind of graffitied warehouse looking room.
Okay.
And then they dance around the apartment and like goof around outside. And at one point they all put on like leather jackets that have their names on the back.
Great. Classic.
And yeah, it's just like a general like happy, bright little video. Because this song has like 3 titles. It says like Deja Vu with all of the little accents on all of the words. And then it has a Korean title and a Chinese title in parentheses. And the Korean title is To the Stage. And the Chinese title appears to be Dance Road. So like I think it's more about like, and they keep saying like on the stage, dream. So like I think it's supposed to be more about like we're achieving our dreams
getting to
of
be
being
on the stage.
But they say deja vu 1 time, so I guess
so it made it on the list.
I think I ranked this song like higher than most people. Well, most people kept it kind of mid-range. It was my number 5 because I actually, this feels like the kind of like SMP that I can get behind. Like it's a little like super Emmy or whatever. I like all of the harmonies in the chorus, and it's like kind of catchy, and it's not like too noisy and crazy in a way that's like super annoying to me.
Fair.
So this was like straight in the middle for me.
This was my last pick.
Okay.
I put it down at the bottom. I listened to it with my headphones on, and it was just so like there is so much happening because, and I don't know how, I know that the Dreamies are not all of NCT, so there's not actually 20 voices on this, but it feels like there's like listening to it felt like I was in a crowded room, and it was the only song. It did, and it was the only song on the list that I found myself checking to see how much was left. So I was like, that's gotta go at the bottom. Like, sorry friends, but not into it.
That's very fair. I understand.
But I was not the only one. There are 2 other people who agreed with me.
No, you're not wrong. But this was also somebody's favorite. So
that's true. That's true.
I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah. We all have our own opinions.
True.
But only one of us is right.
All right. Moving in to 8th place, we have Deja Vu as performed by Twice. All right, so this song came out on April 9th, 2018 on the Twice album What Is Love, and it is also on the repack for Dance the Night Away, I believe, because I saw 2 of them in Spotify and I was like, uh-oh, are there 2? But no, it's just a repack thing. So this song was written by a whole bunch of people: Haley Adkin, John Halvard Larson, Eirik Johansen, and Judith Stockvik, Ronnie Vidar Svensson, and Nerman Harambasik. So I'm
Nice. Well
guessing these are
done.
Swedish people. And the
Yeah.
lyrics were by a Korean person named Chloe.
Love it.
So this song musically has that like cheerleadery twice rapping that they were doing at this
Mm-hmm.
point in their career. And the pre-chorus, like the lyrics are like very fast and
Yeah.
there's marching band drums and a lot of like vocal harmonies through a chorus that is just la la la, like the chorus is only la la
Yeah.
la's. And then it has like a crazy EDM drop that's like 3/4 of the way through and is completely different than the rest of the song.
Yeah, that really took me by surprise when that kicked in. I was like, "Oh shit. All right." I mean, it was surprising.
So the Deja Vu lyrics in this one, they say, "The moment I first saw you, it's you, oh Deja Vu. I'm facing you who resembles my dreams. You're so mysterious and I'm curious."
Mm. All right. So again, deja vu of something that you've seen in a dream.
Hmm.
Interesting.
We have no visuals for this one as it was a B-side. And yeah, I think that's it. I was familiar with this song because I remember I listened to this album a lot.
Mm.
But I didn't have that very strong of feelings about it. I have it in, this was my second to last one because I think that overall it's it's just kind of nothing.
Yeah.
And the EDM drop at the end is just so crazy to me.
I agree. The EDM drop is crazy and definitely like dropped it down in the list, but it always was kind of in the lower half. It's not my favorite Twice era. And that like cheerleader style rapping that they do isn't my favorite.
Hmm.
But it also had like the NCT Dream one, like the amusement park sounds, and the like
Yeah.
it sounds like a xylophone toy. And there's the synth in this Twice one also feels like a kid's toy melody. So that was an interesting repeating pattern that I
Yeah.
noticed. But otherwise, yeah, I had this in 8th place as well. So I agreed
Okay.
with the overall ranking.
All right. What's next up?
In 7th place, we have Deja Vu by Pixie. This song was released on June 15th, 2022 on Pixie's third mini album, Reborn. It was written by JJ12 Wancha, Williamian May, Josh McClelland, and Long Drive, with lyrics by JJ12 Elrune and Sean O. The musical features for this song, it's very crunchy. There's a ton of vocal filters on it and like sporadically yelled background vocals, like yelling and echoing in the background. There's a lot of twisted vocal samples as well, and this very deep beat. It has a really like dark groove to it with like, I feel like the like wah 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 wah. It's almost like a crunchy horn that has like a horn that has been put through some sort of crunchy filter, and then some sort of sound that sounds like a metal pole being
Yes.
struck in the background. It's very like construction noisy.
Uh-huh.
The lyrics are like, I found the answer to my broken timeline. It becomes clearer. Lead us far away. Deja vu. Ooh, ooh. So I don't really know what that is about or what that means. But it sounds dark,
Mhm.
which is the overall vibe that I got from this song. There are no visuals to it as it is a B-side off of this. And I think that Pixie actually had a B-side that they did on stage when this album came out, but I don't remember what it was. Yeah, this one to me was I remember listening to this release and enjoying at least 2 other songs off of it.
Mhm.
But this one to me is like very middle of the road. Like it fits the overall vibe of the rest of this album, but it's just fine.
Yes, I think for me it was an 8th place.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it started, because I listened to these like quite a few times so that I could try to take them in. And every time it started, I would like the vibe of the verses, but then the chorus just kind of drops into this very flat, like, deja vu. And like, I
Mm,
don't know. I was always disappointed when the chorus started.
yeah. You like want more to match the like, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, I
blah,
think
blah.
so.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I didn't hate it. Like,
No, it was
it
fine.
just felt kind of fine. And the listeners were pretty all over the place. This is one of the songs that like somebody put it got ranked in every single
Yeah,
ranking. Some
it
of the
did.
other songs were like, all trended towards the bottom or the top, but this was a song that people felt every kind of way about, which is very
Yeah,
interesting to me.
that is interesting. What is next?
Next up in sixth place, we have Deja Vu by Triple S.
Is it real or fake? What? Yeah, I'm in there's a blue. For me, I need rendezvous.
This song was released on May 10th, 2023 on the Triple S Crystal Eyes release Aesthetic. It was written by this producer has come up before, and I don't know how they say their name. It's Fuxxy, and I don't know if that's like Fuxy or like Fuzzy or like how they pronounce it, but it makes me
Foxy.
laugh every time I see it.
She.
So them, Eni Masinga, Lua, and Triple S member Sohyun wrote this song. The lyrics are by Jaden Jong, Jeonjiun, all the people above, all the people above.
Mhm.
So this song is like a kind of dreamy city pop song, and I am always afraid to call things city pop because apparently we don't quite understand the definition of city pop as we've been told before, but I think that it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, anytime something toes the line between having disco elements, but all the instruments are like synthetic, I feel like, or it feels more like bubbly and neon.
Yes, and dreamy and echoey in a way that
Yeah.
just feels.
That's
You
what
just know
pushes
what
it
it
over to the
feels.
city pop aesthetic to me,
It also has
to mine ears.
It also has pouty shouting.
Yeah.
Because you can like hear
Oh.
the listeners, you can hear the members like pouting when they go, "Is it real or fake world?" Like there's just like something about their voices. And there's also like very distant member like riffing while
Yeah.
others are singing like really far away. You can hear like another member doing like little like "Ahs," and like stuff like really far back. And that's what it sounds like. You heard it, but
Yes.
that's my description of it. The lyrics, this one, they say like a daydream, I can't stop these emotions for you. Is it real or fake world? And the chorus says, yeah, I'm in deja vu, deja vu. So they say it a bunch of times.
Yeah. Sort of a distressed deja vu.
A little bit, a little bit. This one also has no visuals as it is a B-side. But yeah, what are your thoughts about this? You ranked it quite high.
This was my second place. I thought it was such a cool song. My first choice was like a locked in, no question about it, but this one was a pretty easy choice for the top because when I listened to it with my headphones, like you were saying about how there's so many vocals in the background, that was my favorite part. Like the instruments of this song are actually, it's all very like small, light instruments that mostly just make up the percussion and the rhythm of the song. And almost all of the melodies and harmonies are like purely vocalizations as opposed to having like a string or a piano
Yeah.
or a synth like line that drives the melody. And I thought that was so pretty. And I love city pop and disco and the Venn diagram of the two. So wherever this falls in that, Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that this one wasn't ranked higher by other
Everyone
people.
else.
Yeah, I was like one of the only people who ranked this so high, but that's okay. But yeah, I was surprised that a lot of other, like the majority opinion was middle of the road, because to me this is like such an unquestionably good song and one of my favorites off the list. But I also, when I was deciding like where to put it, my main question was like, is this a standalone, objectively quality song, or is it just very trendy right now? And I think I landed on, I think it's a quality song, but it is also very trendy right
Right.
now. So I don't know. But I
Yeah.
love Triple S.
I appreciate your reasoning and I totally understand it. I think this was in like not seventh, fourth or fifth place for me, if I'm doing my math correctly. And I like it, but I think that, and maybe the reason other people voted the way that they did is compared to some of the songs that are above it, it is quite simple. And I know that its simplicity is
Yes.
something that you like about it. But in the
Mhm.
grand scheme of, legendary K-pop songs that last forever, some of the stuff in the top like really has every bit of it.
Sure.
So I think that's why it fell down a little bit for me, is that I feel like some of the other songs were just like bringing more, like literally more
Sure.
to the
That is
table.
true. That is true. That is true. And I feel like that's just an element of like the genre of cool girl group music right now that is very laid back, where a lot of like New Jeans and Triple S songs are that sort of like kind of
Yeah.
music instead of the like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
If those exclamations will do
I
for
think
further explanations.
They make sense.
Thank you. All right. Next up in fifth place is Deja Vu by FX.
남자를 찾는 데자 vu 기억 속에 흔적을 따라 네 모습을 찾아야 해내 머리보다 느낌을 따라
This song was released on October 27th, 2015, off of FX's album Four Walls. It was written by Adam Capit, Ryan June, Nermin Harambasik, Kine J. Hansen, Lloyd Lawrence Lawrence, and has lyrics by Jo Young Kyung.
One of those people was on the Twice song. I just realized.
That's
Nermin.
true. Yeah, Nermin. Nermin Harambasik, whose pronunciation I took from yours.
I just
I have
guessed.
no
Maybe it's
idea. how to
Hiram
say that.
Basic, but that seems
Harambasic.
too
Nermin.
Englishy.
Nermine.
Nermine. Nermine. I don't know.
Nermin? Harambasik. Anyway. Musical features of the song. There's a club beat, super crunchy noises that kind of just travel in circles around. And that like main hook is made out of just like crunchy sounds. There's a lot of like echoey vocals and filters on all of the vocals as well, with like modulating repeated vocals and a little woohoo, which is really nice and fun. The lyrics say, looking at the map of my brain, have to find you, hiding somewhere for real. I think I've saw you from somewhere. Ooh, every time I look at you, ooh, it's like a deja vu. There are no visuals for this, as it is also a B-side. But I love this song. I was happy that in general it like stayed in the middle or to the top, because for me it was number 4. So like I was very close to the overall ranking that we ended up on. But my only other note is that like there has to be a specific genre for this style of like Madonna-esque that
Oh, it
bitch
is
gay
kind
club
of Ray of
music.
Lighty, isn't it?
Like, yeah, it's super. It's like a type of music
Yes.
that I love. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. So I was just like, Hannah, this album is so fun. I love it when FX pops up. So happy to have them here. Happy to have them in the top 5.
Love it. Love it. All right. Moving into the 4th place, we have Deja Vu by A-Pink. This song was released July 16th, 2015 on A-Pink's second studio album, Pink Memory. The song was written by Chae-young-chan, and the lyrics are by A-Pink's leader, Chodong.
Lovely.
This song has like snap percussion and like a little piano loop, a couple fun guitar licks for good measure. It has a very wibbly electronic whistly sound of some kind that I can't quite describe, but
I described it as computer bloops / chimes because it's like a little wee boop 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 boop. Like that's what it sounds like.
Yes. The lyrics to this one say, "When I saw you by chance, I had this mysterious, fluttering feeling. Your warm eyes, your pretty smile, everything is familiar to me." But they do not, this is the only song on the list where they do not ever use the word deja vu in the lyrics at all.
Interesting. So it's just like the vibe.
The vibe of, I feel like everything about you is familiar.
Yeah. I do. Well, that's such an interesting, I like that use of deja vu because there is something like the rest. We've seen a lot of examples where deja vu, and we were talking about this at the beginning, how it has like an unsettling like layer to it. But there's also on the more positive side of things, like when you meet somebody that you feel like you've known forever, or somebody that is like such an easy person to get along with or get to know, because it's like, I've actually only known you for a couple of months, but it feels like we've been friends for years. And that's such a nice, like warm feeling of deja vu. So it's nice to have at least one sort of fuzzy representation of what deja vu could be.
And I do feel like musically this song feels
captures
so
that.
much so different from everything on the list, in that it has more of that like warm, sweet candy girl group music about it. That even the Triple S song doesn't quite feel the same. But it is also a very like, it's a very A-Pink song. I was obsessed with this album. I think it's one of their best albums, period. Like
you burned me a copy of it.
It's
on a CD.
It's so good.
I still have it.
This song was a B-side, but they did perform it at concerts. So there are videos of it, but they like sit on the stairs and sing it. So it's not like there's choreo missing or anything. And just a very specific memory that I attached to this song is that after we saw A-Pink in 2015, as we were leaving the concert, this was the song that they like played loud over the speakers as we were filing out. And so I just remember like listening to this song and having a like, whoa, I literally just saw A-Pink moment.
Nice.
Because that was like my second K-pop concert ever after Mamamoo.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're like my second ultimate bias group. So it was very much like a surreal, like, holy shit, I saw A-Pink. And because this song was playing, it's kind of just like attached to that memory. Yeah.
Totally.
I was very surprised. I mean, not very surprised, but happy to see that a lot of the listeners also ranked this super high.
I agree.
Because I wasn't sure how people were going to feel about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I know I am not the only A-Pink stan in the world. I know I'm not, because they've managed to be a group for like 13 years. So people love them. But I just feel like people don't talk about them as much as I do. So I always wonder how other people feel about A-Pink or A-Pink music. And I wasn't sure if this was just going to like fall to the bottom because people don't like this kind of girl group song. But a lot of people agreed with me and thought it was a high ranking choice.
Yeah, there are a couple people who even put it like in their top 3. So there are definitely some fellow A-Pink fans in the crowd.
Which just makes me happy to know.
Of course, always. All right, moving into our top 3 with
Woohoo!
third place, Deja Vu, as done by Dreamcatcher.
끝없이 눈앞에 데자부 데자부 데자부.
This song was released on September 18th, 2019 on the special album Raid of Dream. It was written by Lees and Olounder. Sorry, I thought that was an I. Olounder, with lyrics by Kim Boon of Jam Factory. The musical features, there's a lot of piano. Like, it starts out as just sort of a beautiful piano ballad with just nice slow piano and vocals over it, and then it has like an echoey like drum track, and all of the verses have these really light airy vocals to them, and then the chorus comes in with that signature Dreamcatcher like hard rock, and then very big choral vocalization in the background. Yes, and like a bunch of like violins and strings like come in to build it up. The lyrics say, "So now I'm holding this pain like how you abandoned everything. It grows clearer every day, endlessly in front of my eyes, deja vu." And there is actually a music video for this one because I think it was the title off of this special album. And it's like fairy tale, beautiful, backstabbing princesses where one of them is the ruler and is either betrayed by or paranoid of betrayal from her court. So there's like swords, and like one of them is in a coffin with blue roses, and they all turn dramatically with like black veils over their faces. And yeah, there's a lot of fancy dinners and beautiful gowns and 2 main dance sets, one of which has these great like royal style formal short outfits with like white jackets and flowy sleeves. And then the other one is a super modern like detective Inspector Gadget
Yes.
outfit with like suits and ties and pleather rain jackets. And I think those outfits, A, don't fit the fairy tale vibe, and B, would have looked better had the jackets not been pleather.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
so shiny.
I love the white dance outfits with the like super flowy sleeves that like really goes with
those
the
are
choreo,
nice.
and they look nice. But yeah, those pleather trench coats look super cheap and just kind of
Yeah.
like they almost ruin the aesthetic of the music video, which is so perfect up until that point. And they come in at like the third chorus and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's suddenly a different era and different style entirely. And also, I would imagine that fabric would be loud.
Yeah,
Like, I feel
like
like
it
it
would
would be
squeak.
squeak, like every time you dance. But whatever. I don't know if they wore those on stage. But this one, yeah, for me, this one was like pretty in the middle, but we have a lot of Dreamcatcher fans in our listener base. So I was not surprised to see this be higher up on the list than I personally ranked it.
Yeah, I think that this one was just looking at the results feels really polarizing, and that
Super
people
split.
either put it in their top 3 or their bottom 3 and nowhere in between. Like people
I'm
either
the
love
only
or hate
person who
this
put it
one.
right in the middle. It was my number
Oh,
5.
true. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I was like, nope, right in the middle.
This one ended up being my second one just because I
Really?
think, yes, because I think like overall in the like grand scheme of like K-pop and like a song like being a fucking song, like I think that this is one. I think that the vocals in the verses are so beautiful.
They're heartbreaking.
Like just really, really lovely stuff. And then the like way that chorus comes in is like very satisfying. And I just think that I've always said that I think that Dreamcatcher's whole thing is like pretty cool. And the like rock of this one doesn't feel as jarring as it does in some of their other songs. It like almost feels like I don't know, it just like lends itself much nicer. And I just think that that the vibe of this one is really cool, and the deja vu element of this one is kind of fun in that like they lean more into the creepiness of a deja vu.
Yeah.
And that and this is one of the only like breakup songs where it's like the person in the
that's
song
true.
keeps remembering like my pain and how you abandoned me, and it keeps coming back to me like
Yeah.
this horrible deja vu. And so like that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, it is. Dreamcatcher's always a good time.
Yeah. And that's why they're in third place in this battle. Because most
fought their
people
way to the top.
also thought it's a good time.
Absolutely.
All right.
What is second?
Second place? And these first and second, these two songs, they were fighting the whole time, every time a new one came in. But second place, Deja Vu by 80s. This Deja Vu came out on September 13th, 2021 on 80s' album 0:Fever Part 3. This one was written by Eden, who came up before, Olounder, who came up before, Lees, who came up before. So those two, Olounder and Lees, wrote the Dreamcatcher Deja Vu as well. So
sure
very
did.
interesting. Also, Pepperoni and Olive.
That's funny.
The lyrics are credited to all of the above writers, as well as rappers Hongjung and Mingi wrote their own raps in this song.
Sure.
This song has like a very hollow percussion that almost sounds clock-like.
Yes, I described it as like almost a bottle or a jug.
Yes,
because
it's
it has
very
that sort of like
hollow.
dong da dong da dong dong, like as if you were like clanging on a bottle or
Yeah, or
like
blowing
through
into one.
through a
Yeah.
jug. Yeah.
There's a little bit of a like marching band drumline drum in the pre-chorus. And the other note I had about the musical sounds of this song is that the vocalizations in this song are very horny. There's just like so much groaning and moaning and vocal frying and lip biting, and like you can hear it in the song.
You really can. One of my notes is in all caps that just says slutty choreo, all hips, cunty songhua, because this is the comeback where I learned an 80s name, which was Songhua, because he's the one that has the like blue, white, and black shirt that's like
With the weird
unzipped for
cutouts,
the
yeah.
collarbone. Yeah, and he hates full shirts, so he just like wears something slutty all the time, and he has really good smolder. But yeah.
So the lyrics to this one are also very horny because they say, "Oh, it's like the shivers of my body remember you. I know you get deja vu. I go insane. I want you so bad."
Ooh la
Like
la.
all of that.
Da 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 da.
Da, 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 da. So this one does have a music video. This was a like main release, and
Yeah.
they wear like very, very shiny pleather pants and
Yes.
tops that have some of the most complicated cutouts and necklines like I've ever
And
seen.
zipperies, and yeah, there's so much happening in the I can't even call them shirts.
Yes, they're nerds, as our Discord listeners say. They're not shirts.
They're not shirts, but that's not to imply that there's a lot of skin
Right.
showing, because there's not necessarily.
little
They're
tummies,
just
a little
very
chest,
like
but-
little peaks. But it's not like they're shirtless. It's just like, what is that contraption upon your body? Like it's just a strangely fabricated item of clothing.
And the music video also has like a lot going on. There's like
Yes.
cars racing in tunnels and drones chasing them, but there's like also butterflies and like lightning, and there's a lot going on. And when I like Googled it, apparently there's a lot of complicated 80s lore being referenced in this music video that I don't quite understand, but there is
I
a
did
lot happening.
recognize I did recognize the part where, because I know nothing of ATs, even though we have seen them. The
Multiple
only thing I should
times.
say, the only thing I know about ATs is what I have learned from seeing them at KCON multiple times. And that is the one outfit where they wear the hats and the black suits and the red armbands. And there's a part, and because I remember talking to some girls
They
who
were
were dressed
dressed
like
that
that
way.
at KCON. And then in this music video, there's a part where one of them, and God, I don't know which one of them goes up to like a glass box that's filled with fog, and inside of the glass box is maybe the same one, but one of them dressed in that black hat, red armband outfit. So I knew it had to do with the lore, but I don't know what any of the lore is.
Right.
So that's as far as I know.
One last note just from me, because I think it's interesting. After the first chorus, member Hong Jung has like a rap moment, and there's this very unsettling doubling on the rap where he's like doing it in one tone of voice, and then there's like a much lower but on a like discordant note version of the same rap happening underneath, and it like really gets under your skin in like a crazy way. So like it's very
like it.
effective.
Yeah. I really liked the song when it came out. It was definitely in my top title tracks. I actually own this song, which is rare.
Wow, that is
I
very
know.
interesting.
I know.
Yeah, I like this. I like this song. I like that the da 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 part like reminds me of Love Shot, which is that's an EXO song that I love, but it's got that similar like groove that you're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And with the like because they move their hips in kind of the same way during the choreo, and the little like hand flicks up or whatever. Yeah, I get it. All right. That brings us to number one, Deja Vu by Newest W.
기억을 걷는 이곳에 차라리 날 가둬줘 Deja vu.
This song was released on June 25th, 2018 on the album Who You? Or Who You? Or Who You? Whichever. It was written by Bumzu, Beko, and Anchor, with lyrics by Bumzu, Beko, and JR. The musical features of this song are that sick bass line. So funky, so chunky, so thick. I love that bass. It's so good. It's so good. That is truly the main feature of the song, but it has otherwise like a pretty simple instrumentation. It's got like snap
almost
percussion.
Trop House, honestly, I think.
Yeah, it is a little bit with the like boop boop boop
Yeah.
boop, boop ish of it. But yeah, it has those like it just has all of those like echoey, drippy effects of the time.
Yes, it's super 2018.
It's very 2018. The lyrics of the song state, "Let me turn time back and go to where you are. Let me stay with you in this place where I'm walking through the memories. I'd rather be trapped here. Deja vu." So almost like a conscious, like not an incidental, oh whoa, it feels like I've been here, but like I wish in the past.
Be there.
Yeah, I
on
wish I
purpose,
could go back and relive it. Absolutely gorgeous visuals. This was a title main release for Newest W, which is a subunit of Newest. And so there is a music video, and the members are like sulking around a dusty rainbow mansion in like very expensive pajama suits where they're like silky but sort of like light pastel colors. And they're maybe making drugs. I don't know, undetermined. But they're like building time machines, and they're hallucinating children, and there's weird future tech, and a lot of random things are happening. And then it cuts to them dancing in these like big combat boots in this kind of like rainy, shadowy warehouse. And there's a lot of really beautiful, like delicate footwork and like leg choreography with like hands in pockets. I love the laid back choreography, which is not featured enough in the music video.
It is not in the video enough. Like, it truly isn't. There are very, very few cutaways to the dance, which is so good. But a thing about this music video that's crazy to me, and I don't know if I said it in the newest deep dive, but I'm sure I did because it's so shocking. But they are wearing mandals in so many of the scenes, and there's so many close-ups of their like bare toes in like fucking sandals with their pretty suits on, and it's crazy.
Who directed this music video? Quentin
Tarantino.
Tarantino. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a crime that there isn't more choreo in the music video, but thankfully it was a main title, so we do have
There's
a lot of
plenty
choreo versions out there. But yeah, this was absolutely my number one. Like,
I
with
didn't
the-
even question it. When I
Didn't
saw the
question
list, I was
it.
like, I don't even need to look because Newest W goes in first place.
It goes in first place and it stays in first place. Like, one of my favorite things about this song is that, like we said, that bass is so just delectable. And the entire time, the vocals over it are so light, so bubbly, so precious. And I love that juxtaposition. I think it's so fun. Like, this is a classic forever.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm so glad that it could be number one and that it was a pretty overwhelming consensus.
Yeah.
Like, everyone agreed by a good like 10 points that this one was the top.
Yeah. There was just one person who I think
Whoever ranked this at the bottom, you are banished.
so I think, sorry to call this person out because they know who they are, but just looking at this one person who disagreed about this song, put all the boy group songs in the bottom and all the girl group songs in the top. So it might be a person that just doesn't fuck with boy groups. But it was interesting to like see that in the results.
That is interesting. I think your bias has skewed your opinion in this particular case, but to each
Hey,
their own.
That's what they pay for, is the chance to
That's what they pay
put their
for.
own
Their
voice.
chance, yeah, to make their opinion heard. And thou hast been recorded and outvoted.
Yes. But my last note about this Newest W song is, again, a very specific memory of when we saw them at KCON in 2018. And I saw for the first time, probably because the music video wasn't like showing it enough and it was right in my face. But at the beginning, there's a super cool mirror choreo where two of the boys like make the mirror with their hand, and then two members like do a dance on either side of it like they're in a mirror. And I just thought it was so neat. I remember being like, whoa, that was really cool. And it like, it's locked in my brain forever.
It is very cool. I agree.
So I agree with this top choice. I love it. This is the song. Like, if you said to me, because I think I've seen people have been doing this on TikTok with like other pop, like, you know, Western pop songs that have the same title, but they say like, when you hear the title blank, what song do you start singing in your head? Like, I saw one that was like, Let Me Love You. And it was like, do you think Mario? Do you think Justin Bieber? Do you think Neo, I think, or whatever? And everybody was arguing about that. But if you say Deja Vu to me, Newest W is the first thing that I think of.
Absolutely. Me too.
So there you go. We battled it out.
I love it. And the top contender came out a winner. Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. I did notice, just thinking, like, looking back at all of the list, I feel like the most obvious commonality in all of them is the use of echoes and like background vocals to give like space and depth within the song. It feels like every single, like, the idea of deja vu just lends itself to like something echoing back at you, and it seemed like almost every song had some element of that.
Yes, that's very interesting. Pulling in the poetry of the title to like,
Yeah.
you know,
Into the composition of the song.
yeah, to make you think, oh, have I heard this before?
Yeah.
They did it. They nailed it.
They did it.
Yeah, I overall really enjoyed enjoyed like all 10 songs. Like, even though, like, Monster X was the clear bottom for everybody, it's not the worst Monster X song ever. And if you like let it take over you, it is kind of a vibe. But it is
Like I said, it was pretty hypnotizing. And at the very least, I didn't find myself asking, when is this over? Which wasn't true for all of the songs.
True. So thank you to all of our seasoned fan tier Patreon patrons for voting in this and for being Patreon patrons. We love you guys for supporting us, and it's always fun when you can help us with episodes like this so that we don't have to take all the blame for how things shake out.
Absolutely. Yeah. We can all share the ire of the masses.
And with that, we'll be right back with the random game. All right, we are back. And this week, the random number generator chose a recent boy group called Vanner.
Yes, VANNER. This is a 5-member group that was originally formed under VT Entertainment, but is currently managed by Clap Entertainment. They just signed with them in 2023, if I remember the Wikipedia I just skimmed. But apparently they started their promotional activities in Japan and promoted over there over 200 times before, like did 200 performances before they debuted in Korea, and had also done a crowdfunding event in order to help support their debut, where they raised over 250% of the target amount.
Well, great.
So they were well supported by a grassroots movement, I suppose.
And they debuted in Korea in 2019 with a song called Better Do Better. And they did a couple of things up until they all auditioned to be on the JTBC survival show Peak Time, and they competed as a group as Team 11 o'clock. I didn't watch Peak Time, but I guess people got time teams, and they were 11 o'clock. And
because who's gonna be the peak time?
And they won.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool that they won. So they got to go on like a concert tour as a prize for winning. And they signed with Clap Entertainment afterward, where they also signed a contract with Eshi Gazit, who is like a music promoter who does a lot of US things for K-pop groups. He is maybe most recognizable for managing Monsta X's English stuff and US activities.
And he follows us on Instagram, and he'll like
sure
our stories.
does.
And then when I'm like, Ashi, what's up? He will not answer me.
And then he gives a form response. Or one time he answered us like during KCON with something that did not answer. Like, we asked him a question.
Like, are
he was
you
like,
here? Can we talk?
And he was like, thanks for supporting the boys. And I was like, that's not what we said, but okay. Anyway,
he's managing Vanner now too.
So they have actually done now, I believe, 2 US tours, or they're ramping up for their second one. They've done at least one. They perform a lot, it seems, in Japan and all around wherever they can go.
And they just, as of this recording, exactly 1 week ago, they released a new song called Jackpot that was produced by Hui and Woo-seok from Pentagon.
And they have another song called Want You Back that is produced by Monsta X. So interesting that they have a few different idol produced songs.
Yeah. But their most popular music video at the moment is their release from last October called Performer. So if you want to watch that with us, you can pull it up and press play when I say go.
Based on this opening thumbnail, one of them is very beefy.
All right. Love to see it. Yeah, because they are in this opening frame all in shadow here with their backs to us. It looks like, or their fronts. I think backs. Their feet are facing away.
Yeah. But the one in the middle kind of makes me think like no, I think they're facing front. I think they're facing forward.
I
Either
don't
way,
know.
3 of them have their guns out, so let's find out.
Let's find out. So if you want to watch this with us, just pull up Vanner Performer and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
They are facing forward.
no, they turned around.
No, they didn't.
They absolutely
Rewind.
did.
Rewind.
Watch the one in the middle. He turns over his shoulder. We're starting again.
Okay, we're starting over.
3, 2.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
He turns, but the others don't turn around. Watch the one on the left, and he just goes down. We won't start it over again, but I'm right.
But this is so shadowy. Okay, here we go. The
Okay,
lights are finally up.
came on. Ooh. I was right about the guns. Oh no, I was wrong about the guns actually, because one of them is wearing a lace shirt.
Oh yeah, that is a
And one of them's
lacy
wearing
shirt.
a t-shirt. So there's like one set that is basically like a big white room, like the Weekly Idol set. And that's where we started. Oh no, now we're sailors. Okay, a lot of things are happening actually.
Yeah, there's like a boat. There's boat sets, and there's this lighthouse where they're like now they're dancing in like navy
Sailor
dress
outfits.
whites.
Yeah. Love a man in uniform. One of them has a little beret. Also, white suit pants are always a good choice to put anybody in. I learned that when I was costuming a version of What You Do About Nothing, and we put the men in dress whites, and our Don Julio was so goddamn hot. That one kind of looks like not Wu Young, Wong Wu.
They all look like someone to
Other
me.
people, yeah. Those are bad shorts. I don't like shorts that are that long. Just a personal opinion. The song is fun though. I haven't even really
Yeah,
been
I
paying
like
attention
it.
to the song. Ooh, shadow dancing. A lot of shadow dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's the lacy one who's doing the. I was going to say, we don't even know who's doing it because he's all in shadow. Kikis? Was that a skirt or shorts? I thought they were shorts this whole time. Oh, okay. Body rolls.
Oh, so much of this is in shadow. I
It's
get
all
it
in
for an
shadow.
accent, but like, let me see their faces.
Yeah. Every single dance scene is in shadow. Like, what are we doing here? This ship set scene is so cheap looking. Like, really is goofy. Ooh,
Ooh.
I'm your performer.
They got flags.
Mm,
Wow. All
Banner.
right.
All right, Banner. Clap entertainment.
Well, I'm not impressed. I'll have to check out that new song.
Yeah, whatever their new one is, Jackpot. I can see that they are performing it, so there's live versions to see.
Great.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, it is weekly recommendation time. Do you have anything you can recommend this week?
I don't think so. I have really not been keeping up with new releases the past couple of weeks. So I don't know if like the last new thing I think I paid attention to was Sister 19, and that was kind of at the beginning of January. So I don't know that I do. What have I been listening to? I've just been going through, well, since I watched the TVXQ Killing Voice one, and it was such a perfect like timer / distraction for doing the dishes, I've just been going through and finding a different Killing Voice every time I have to do a specific chore. And I really, really do enjoy pretty much all of them. I rewatched the EXO one recently. Great time. But yeah, other than that, no, I have
No.
nothing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I also have not been like listening to or checking out any new music so far this year. I know stuff is out, but
Mhm.
I'm just kind of generally behind. But something I guess I can recommend because it is something that I did is I got a library card at my new town and I went to the
Nice.
library and I checked out a couple of K-pop novels that
Mm.
have been mentioned and recommended before. And I read one that Alex Young, who wrote Idle Gossip that we had on the show, she like said she was inspired by or recommended a book called XOXO by the
Mm.
author is Axio, AXIEOH, Axio.
Oh, okay.
And I read that book. I read it in like 2 days.
Nice.
It is definitely a YA novel. Like it's not a grown-up book. It's about high schoolers. Like, so it's
Mm.
high schooly. But the plot of it is that like a girl has a meet cute with an idol in LA, and then months and months later she goes to a fancy art school in Korea because she's a cellist. And that boy she had a
Mm.
meet cute with is an idol, and his whole group goes to this school because they're still young and in high school, and so they go to high school.
Mm.
And hijinks and love ensue.
Fun.
And I really enjoyed it because I feel like of all of the K-pop novels I have read so far, this one felt like the author has been a fan for a very, very, very long
Mm.
time. Like in her acknowledgments, she said, like, thank you to my cousin for buying me that Finkel cassette.
Oh, damn.
Like, like this is a long time
Old
fan.
school. Yeah.
So I felt like the portrayal of K-pop felt really, really true. And there wasn't
Mm.
anything like weird and Western, like in Jessica's book or whatever, that was just like, where are
Sure.
you getting this from? It felt like the author like knew what the fuck she was talking about, so I wasn't like taken out of it by like
Nice.
weird depictions of K-pop. And it was just like cute and sweet and a fun easy read, and I think that it would make, I was thinking the whole time I was reading it, like this would make such a good Netflix teen movie, but I worry that
Mm.
they would never make it because the Exo Kitty A was like the name of that spin-off.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that was also like American Girl Goes to Korea School. And it didn't
Yeah,
have
they've
anything
already
to do with
made that.
K-pop, but maybe it's too similar. Anyway, so if you're looking for a quick, easy little read, I enjoyed XOXO by Axio.
Nice.
But I've made a whole list and I'm gonna try to read like every single K-pop novel that they have at my library, just because I think it's fun to compare and contrast them and see which tropes that they literally all use are like, it's just very fun. It's a fun little
Yeah.
genre. So yeah.
Nice.
I also started I started Bright.
Shine too. Oh, God.
Yeah. And so far, it's not about K-pop. It's about fashion. So that's kind of disappointing.
That is a
Because
bummer.
we talked about like maybe, and maybe we still will, but we talked about like maybe covering it on the show later this year, because when we read Shine, we did so many episodes about it and people didn't really like it that much. And so I was hesitant to talk about the
Mm-hmm.
sequel. But it starts 5 years in the future. Like, so it
What?
skips everything that we like left the last book off on, which is kind of
Damn.
frustrating. And it's clearly, more or less about the point in time when Jessica was like, I want to be a fashion designer, and more or less got kicked out of her group. Like, I think that's what this book is going to be about, because it's so much more about fashion than it is about K-pop.
It's probably her trying to justify her decision to leave and be like, this is my side of the story and why I was not wrong to leave and blah,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I should have been able to fulfill my fashion dreams and step into the spotlight.
Yep, exactly. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm like halfway through that one. We'll see how it goes, but compared to the other books I've been reading lately, like I've been reading a lot. I've been trying to read and go to the library.
Good
And
for
like
you.
like the book I just recommended, it just like went down smooth like honey. I was just like reading it and it was great. And then I was 2 pages into this Jessica Jung book and I was like, "Oh, kill me." Like it's just like immediately bad. I still don't believe that she actually wrote them, but like
No, of course
whoever
not.
did, it's just like not good. Ugh.
It was an AI.
Anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent about that.
That's okay. I did, while you were describing the books, I did remember that I actually did watch a newish release. I don't know when it came out at this point. But have you watched G Idol's Wife?
Yes.
I liked it. I
It's-
actually thought it was really fun.
It's definitely like, I don't know. When it gets stuck in my head, I get really mad and I like have to go
Sure.
listen to something else because it's like, it's earwormy in a way that's a little grating, but in a like delivering a message and making a very strong point. I think it does. And it feels like one of those songs, like one of those moments and one of those songs that's like, oh, this is going to be like a thing that people remember and point to in history. Or like, I don't know. It just like really has a strong vibe. And I also liked the second single,
Super Lady?
Yeah, that one was fun too.
Yeah. It is fun. It is fun. And Super Lady feels very different for G Idol in that, like, and I guess they do it in the Wife music video as well. Wife, they are not allowed to perform because
It's too much.
all the broadcast studios were like, this is dirty. So they can't perform it anywhere. And it was even on the news. People are like, it's like caused a whole kerfuffle of like being too feminist and people are super mad about it. So honestly, good for them. And yeah, Super Lady is fun because they do almost like a girls' generation style, like military fancy outfits
Yeah.
where they're all matching and in heels, which is not usually G Idol's vibe. When it comes to like their outfits and stuff, I feel like they're usually a group where each one is wearing something different and they don't usually like match. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I like this new comeback. They're being like very in your face in a way that I find fun.
Yeah, I agree.
And I liked Wife. Like G Idol is very hit or miss for me. I sometimes find their songs very obnoxious. And I totally get why Wife could be found irritating. But I thought it had like their same sort of style of earworm while being very like fun, and the cheekiness of it I enjoy.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time.
I just think it's so interesting. Like I was just thinking the other day, like after I watched Super Lady, maybe that like I don't know if I was making bets 5-6 years ago, like where
On what kind of music G Idol
or
would
what
make
do
now?
you think would happen to G Idol? I don't think I would have predicted them like still like being so popular, Soyeon still like, you know, doing whatever the fuck she wants, like message wise, like just like in a sense of a cube girl group.
Absolutely.
I did not see them continuing this long and continuing to be popular this long and like getting to like do whatever they want this long because Cube does not have a good track record with anyone but like mostly girl groups. So I just like
Especially
find
with
it
girl groups,
very
yeah.
surprising and like
I
good
did-
for them, but like I
good
just
for
kind of
them.
never thought that it would have worked out like this.
Especially being under Cube, which we know to be a mess. But I did see something recently where the members, well, first of all, they went on Knowing Brothers recently, and I saw a lot of people being like, this is how you do a TMI. Like, this is actually interesting and not just like, I ate convenience store tteokbokki for dinner. But apparently, like, 2 of the members were at one point like interested in the same guy, and they found out because one of them got a text from the guy and the other member like saw her phone and was like, oh no, are you texting with him? Like, I'm texting with him. And they were like, oh no, like we didn't know that, like I didn't know you were interested in him. So now they like agreed to always tell each other everything, including when you're interested in somebody, just so that they don't step on anybody's toes.
That
And I
is
was
a
like,
real
that's
TMI.
great. I love that. Yeah, and it's a great TMI. But I don't know if it was on Knowing Brothers or something else because they are doing like the promotional rounds now, but or recently. But they were talking about how the members, have done a lot to like fund the production of their album, like whether they're paying for it themselves or they're organizing it themselves or they're producing it themselves. I saw a couple of tweets being like, okay, but so what is Cube doing? And I think Cube is doing nothing because that's usually their MO. But B, like maybe that's why, that's like weirdly the secret to G Idol's success is that
They just do it themselves.
they
so
do it
gets done.
themselves. So it gets done. Exactly. So if that is the case, good for them. Good luck to them. And maybe someday they can branch out and get away from Cube and do their own thing completely if that's what's better for them.
Yeah.
But either way, I like this comeback. It's fun.
Great. Perfect. We did it. We got a
We did it. We
recommendation
found
in there.
stuff.
We did it.
We could talk about K-pop.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening to this. And if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Instagram at AMAKPopPod. You can email us, amakpoppod@gmail.com. You can send us a little text or leave us a voicemail at 181-AMAKPOP5. We can get mail at P.O. Box 26096, Los Angeles, California 90026. If you want to join our Patreon and participate in episodes like this, patreon.com/AMAKPopPod. For a small fee, there are a couple of tiers. You can choose how much access you want or not. You can get bonus content from the show, video episodes, audio episodes. There are things in the higher tier. You get to vote in polls or vote in song battles and participate in the show. So that's fun if you want to do it. Linktree/AMAKPop will take you to our YouTube and Spotify where we have playlists for everything. And you can also join our Discord, which we talk about all the time. And like we said, there's an episode suggestion channel there. If you want to suggest episodes, that's a great place to do it. But you can also do it at all the other places because we check all the other places. AskMeAboutKpop.com is where there's merch, but I keep saying it. I need to close that store because nobody's buying merch, which is fine. It's fine. Y'all don't have to buy anything, but it costs money to keep it open. And I'm tired of spending it.
I know. We really just need to switch to like literally just Venmo us and
then
like we'll
you.
mail it to you because that would be easier. So we'll probably end up doing that eventually. Look out for a AMAK Venmo added to the link tree because that's what it's gonna fucking be. I do feel like that would just be easier.
It would be. But anyway, that is it. We will be back in 2 weeks with something fun and exciting as always. And thanks for listening. And we love you. And bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Jonghyun, you're our inspiration.